Now sit back and watch how my ship sails. I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, y'all gon' love me when y'all hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how you like me now? I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, they gon' love me when they hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how y'all like me now? I roll around feeling like a champ. I'm validated, so I don't need a stand. I'm working hard trying to reach my goals, but haters telling me that I was too old. But Kelly Ray said make your daddy proud. Now represent, cause you his only child. So now I'm focused pedal to the metal, switching lanes, doing things, about to reach my highest level. I'm thanking God cause he knew my plan. I put my trust in him, I never trust a man. I got respect for everybody grinding. Shout out to OG Rip, this was perfect timing. What up, homie? So put your bottles up and take a sip. Now grab a mic, let's show them how to make a hit. I'm finally playing on your local station. I guess I made it big, it's a celebration. I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, y'all gon' love me when y'all hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how you like me now? I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, they gon' love me when they hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how y'all like me now?
Look, let's start it. I'm way too cool. I wish I would've known that when I was in school. Lack of confidence that kept me back. 4 years later, oh, I definitely got that. 2 cars, a house, and a beautiful wife. To me, these are my successes in life. Been working for my company for 7 years. Promotion every 2, yeah, real stunting's here. Check me in the city, it ain't hard to find me. Volunteer events, won't you join in the grind? Make the world better, that's my goal. I really am kind, check my soul. What's my name? I'm Dario. Shout out Juicy J, I borrowed the flow. Wanna change the world? Ask me how. Come with me, let's get big now.
I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, y'all gon' love me when y'all hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how you like me now? I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. And they gon' love me when they hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how y'all like me now?
Black Dog, man, look here, man. Look here, bro. I'm really enjoying what you doing, bro. I mean, you know, I don't care about the $5. I mean, not really. I mean, I do, but I don't. I just want to hang out with you, man. You know, just take this journey with you, man. You know, all over the world, man. You know, you really doing your thing, man. And I'm so proud, man. You know, so proud, man. Can I get like $2.50? Nah, I'm just saying. $1.50? Come on, man. Let's go, man. I'm out of here, man. All right, Black Dog. Black Dog, what's up, man? Here, man. Now, I've been following you for a long time, brother. And it look like you're starting to do good for yourself. You're doing good, brother. I'm proud of you, man. Finally made it, man. I think you there, you know? Yeah. I just gotta ask you one question. One question, Black Dog. You think I can get that $5 now? Know what I'm talking about?
I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, y'all gon' love me when y'all hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how you like me now? I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, they gon' love me when they hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how y'all like me now? Man, I'm sipping on this Long Island. Just wishing I was somewhere laying on an island. I'm feeling good rolling through the hood. My city loving me just like I knew they would. It took some time, but now I'm on top. I'm steady making moves cause I can't stop. So when you see me, give me my prop. Before I say the word and your career stop. Now every day is like a celebration. Remind me of the hard times we was facing. When I was young, I always had this dream to make it big and be up on a winning team. Okay. I get respect from everywhere I go. From 70 up top to 85 below. Now pop a bottle of some Martell. Now sit back and watch how my ship sails. I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, y'all gon' love me when y'all hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how you like me now? I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, they gon' love me when they hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how y'all like me now? I roll around feeling like a champ. I'm validated, so I don't need a stamp. I'm working hard trying to reach my goals, but haters telling me that I was too old. But Kelly Ray said make your daddy proud. Now represent, cause you his only child. So now I'm focused, pedal to the metal, switching lanes, doing things, about to reach my highest level. I'm thanking God cause he knew my plan. I put my trust in him, I never trust a man. I got respect for everybody grinding. Shout out to OG Rip, this was perfect timing. What up, homie? So put your bottles up and take a sip. Now grab a mic, let's show them how to make a hit. I'm finally playing on your local station. I guess I made it big, it's a celebration. I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, y'all gon' love me when y'all hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how you like me now? I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, they gon' love me when they hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how y'all like me now?
Look, let's start it. I'm way too cool. I wish I would've known that when I was in school. Lack of confidence that kept me back. 4 years later, oh, I definitely got that. 2 cars, a house, and a beautiful wife. To me, these are my successes in life. Been working for my company for 7 years. Promotion every 2, yeah, real stunting's here. Check me in the city, it ain't hard to find. Volunteer events, won't you join in the grind? Make the world better, that's my goal. I really am kind, check my soul. What's my name? I'm Dario. Shout out Juicy J, I borrowed the flow. Wanna change the world? Ask me how. Come with me, let's get big now.
I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, y'all gon' love me when y'all hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how you like me now? I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. And they gon' love me when they hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how y'all like me now?
Black Dog, man, look here, man. Look here, brother. I'm really enjoying what you're doing, brother. I mean, you know, I don't care about the $5. I mean, not really. I mean, I do, but I just want to hang out with you, man. You know, just take this journey with you, man. You know, all over the world, man. You know, you really doing your thing, man. And I'm so proud, man. You know, so proud, man. Can I get like $2.50? Nah, I'm just saying. $1.50? Come on, man. Let's go, man. I'm out of here, man. All right, Black Dog. Black Dog, what's up, man? Here, man. Now, I've been following you for
Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Still can't hear me? What about now? All right, perfect. Well, thank you guys. Sorry about that little technical difficulty. But like I was saying, we have a clock down there that's going to keep track of how long we talk about the topics. And also the point system is going to be like my game picks. For every game pick I get right, we're going to get a point in the home column. For every game pick I get wrong, it's going to go a point into the away column. And also just any bold takes that I take throughout the year just to see how it plays out. If it ends up happening the way I say it happens, we'll get a point in the home column as well. If it doesn't, it'll be a point in the away column. But thanks everybody for tuning in today. We're going to go ahead and get this thing started off. Let's go ahead and get that clock going. And we're going to jump right into what we saw from the Chiefs last Sunday. And we're also going to do a preview for our upcoming games this Sunday at 3:25 against the Bengals. So as we jump over here, we have my takeaways from the game that we just had. Two key takeaways that I want to touch on right off the jump here is we had 22 carries for Isaiah Pacheco, which was very encouraging. That means we are consistently giving this young man the ball, which I want to continue to see us do that all over the course of the year as we get into playoff time. It is very important to have a great running game or some resemblance of a running game when it comes to playoff time football. So I'm really excited about what I'm seeing there, that we're getting the carries to that young man, and he's been running hard. Like my brother would say, too long we've been having running backs that are a little bit light in the butt running the ball. So it's really nice to see somebody that's a little bit stronger getting those carries, and Rojo even actually had some solid carries over that game against the Rams. One thing I do want to also make sure that we get better at and clean up a little bit is Patrick took a little bit of risk down there in the red zone. You do that against these playoff football teams, and those mistakes can cost us the game. We had too many field goals down there in the red zone. We need to definitely make sure we get in there and turn those into touchdowns and, dominate a bad team. Like, I want to see us dominate bad teams. Another highlight that I want to talk about, takeaway, is L'Jarius Sneed has 7 tackles and an interception. Now, I want to key in on that a little bit more for one reason. That man, per Pro Football Focus, is our highest rated corner on the team, but he's really rated higher. Last week he was rated higher than Jalen Ramsey as a cornerback for per Pro Football Focus. So I just want to give a little bit of love to L'Jarius Sneed and what he's been doing out there for us. I mean, he's been coming in on the blitzes, helping putting pressures on the quarterback. I think it's also helped get some sacks this year, and maybe some of them falling in some of our defensive linemen's laps. We got to see, as they call him, Furious George Karlaftis get his first solo sack this weekend, that was really awesome. I think the Chiefs' pass rush is actually ranked in the top. Don't quote me on this. Don't kill me on this. I gotta check the stats, but they're ranked in the top 5 in sacks. They're absolutely ranked in the top 10. I know that for a fact, but I think they might be in the top 5 for sacks on the season. Which, I mean, if you look at it, we've already passed the number of sacks that we had last year, this year already, and we still have a lot of football left to go this year. So just some big takeaways there. Great job from our defense that we've seen there. L'Jarius Sneed stepping up, and us consistently getting the ball to this kid, because that's only going to help us be better overall. Keys to victory versus the Bengals this week. My keys to victory is secondary maturity and pocket patience. For secondary maturity, we got to see these young guys step up and play big. The Bengals have an array of weapons and wide receivers that we've got to be ready for. I mean, we seen it last year in the AFC Championship game, and also towards the end of the season when we played the Bengals. that we didn't have a corner that could guard Jamar Chase. And it sounds like he's going to be playing this week against us, that he's coming back from that injury to play against us. The T. Higgins is a factor for them. They have an incredible passing game. Their passing game ranks 3rd in the NFL behind us and the Dolphins. So they have an incredible passing game. That's what they're going to do. There might be some opportunities there. Their offensive line's been blocking pretty well here as of late, but they still have given up quite a bit of sacks on the season. So we need to bring that pressure, but our secondary has to grow up for this game. They got to grow up and be ready to go. And also pocket patience. On the other flip side, their pass rush on their defense hasn't been as great this year. So I want Mahomes to make sure he's taking the time and making the right decisions and not forcing anything or rushing anything like we saw in the red zone against the Rams. So those are my keys to victory: secondary maturity and pocket patience. We do those things, I see us walking out of there with a dub. What do you guys think? Any thoughts on that? Anybody? No? But yeah, definitely just those all right. Next topic. Yeah, it just went off in my ears. All right. So, second quarter, we are going to be discussing game picks. I didn't do a show last week, so I don't have any game picks from last week to review. So we're just going to talk about the game picks for this coming weekend, and we're doing all the primetime games. And I threw in a special factor in there for us to look into another game. All right. So going into the second topic here, game picks. So, looking at this week, the games that we're picking this week is Buffalo versus New England, which is, I want to say, is that the late night game Sunday? That's the late night game Sunday, or is that Monday night? No, that's Thursday. Thursday is Buffalo versus New England. So, with that, I am going to be picking the Bills. I'm going to be picking the Bills to win that game. Yeah, I'm going to be picking the Bills to win that game over New England. Just from what we're seeing from New England so far this year, I'm still not sold on their quarterback and his maturity level to win a game against the Bills. I think Bill Belichick will definitely put together a great scheme for Josh Allen, which I would love to see Josh Allen lose, but that's just not what I'm seeing looking at these two teams matching up. I'm going with the Bills to beat New England. For Indianapolis versus Dallas, that is going to be the late night game. How about that call the no timeout that Jeff Saturday didn't do last night? I mean, a lot of people have given a lot of criticism about the Colts hiring Jeff Saturday as their head coach. I really don't have a problem with it. As you're the owner, you can hire whoever you want. It's called nepotism. So if they want to hire Jeff Saturday, they absolutely can do that. But he got to produce. Or either that, your fan base is going to be calling for you guys to get another coach. And he's just the intern, and you definitely saw his... I see El S'more said that his upset this week is going to be, okay. But, no, I think his lack of experience as a coach definitely showed last night. And for that, I definitely I see some more of that trend that's going to happen out through the rest of the year. So I'm going with the Cowboys over the Colts. I know I'm pretty much picking the favorites on all of these. But Cowboys over the Colts. And then for Monday night, we got New Orleans Saints versus Tampa Bay. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they need to go ahead and start getting some wins. So I'm going with Tampa Bay to go ahead and beat the Saints. Chris Olave for the Saints has been looking pretty good as of late. Young, talented receiver. But the Buccaneers definitely need to get a win. And I'm still not a believer in that Tom Brady has hit his cliff. Definitely not that. So Larry was, okay, I see you, Larry. New England over Buffalo. Hey, I would be super happy if that happens. I would be super happy if that happens, because what that means is it further extends the separation of us and the Bills for that playoff run to go through Kansas City, the Kansas City Arrowhead Invitational. Then the fourth game I put on here, because I thought it was a pretty tough game to choose, and I think it'll be a pretty good game this week, probably the game of the week. The Dolphins versus the 49ers. You have two hot teams that are going to be competing against each other. Dolphins have the number 2 offense in the NFL, number 2 passing offense in the NFL behind us, and the 49ers have the best defense in the NFL right now on paper. And Jimmy Garoppolo is making a lot of people fall in love with him again. But that's not me. I'm not falling in love with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not happening. And for that reason, I am picking the 49ers to win. I know I completely just switched that up. Now I'm picking the 49ers to beat the Dolphins. Still not a huge believer in Jimmy Garoppolo, but hey, men lie, women lie, stats don't lie. Numbers don't lie. And Jimmy Garoppolo as the starting quarterback for the 49ers is 41-19. I mean, they win with him at quarterback. And I think they would win if there was another quarterback back there, but it's got to be a solid quarterback that can manage the game and won't lose the game for you. And I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to lose the game for them. I think they're going to come up with a great scheme to be able to keep Tyreek Hill in check, to try to hold them down. So I'm going with the 49ers. So that's my game picks this week. We got the Bills, we got the Cowboys, we got the Buccaneers, and we got the 49ers. Let's see how we end up with that, how that all plays out. So going over into the third quarter, we are going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers. Yes, I know that's been the topic of discussion for a lot of people, is Aaron Rodgers and what the Packers should do. So I'm going to give my take on that. And if you guys have any opinions on what you guys think should happen with that, let me know as well. But we're going to go ahead and get this clock rolling. All right. So I have this up right here. I'm going to go ahead and play some highlights from the Packers game. Give me 1 second here. Play some highlights from the Packers game that we just watched against the Eagles on Sunday night, just so you guys can kind of get a feel for what you can expect out there from them. But Aaron Rodgers says he's healthy and he's going to play. Should the Packers overrule Aaron and sit him the rest of the season? Now, I know there's been a lot of talk like that about, hey, they should go ahead and sit Aaron Rodgers because all he's doing is hurting the team at this point. Let's see. Can you guys see the video now? Yeah, you guys should be able to see it now. But all he's doing is hurting the Packers because they're not having a great season, and this is an opportunity for them to be able to see what they have in Jordan Love, to be able to pack them up, to be able to see what they got out of Jordan Love to determine if they're going to pick up the fifth option. I am against tanking. Trade Aaron and see if Love can play. If not, draft a quarterback. I get that, but I'm not in the realm of tanking unless you are mathematically out of it. And the Packers aren't mathematically out of it yet. They're not. And with them not being mathematically out of it, Aaron Rodgers has to play. I'm not about tanking for positioning and stuff like that. I want to see people go out and compete and give their best. And I don't want to see nobody getting cheap, easy wins that they didn't earn. So, yeah, I want to see Aaron Rodgers continue to start until they're mathematically out of it. So next week, if they lose and they're mathematically out of it, then yes, I'm 100% for putting Jordan Love in there and seeing what you got out of the kid. But as a head coach and as a talent developer and all that, they should know what they have out of Jordan Love for what they see out of him in practice. And we saw some glimpses out of him here in this game against the Eagles when Aaron Rodgers went out hurt. The kid shows some promise, but I'm not a believer in him. And I get they want to find out what they have in him, but you should kind of already have an idea. If you've been working with him over the past, what he's been on that team for 2-3 years now. So you've been working with him for the past 2-3 years. You know if he has it or if he doesn't. I mean, Pat Mahomes, when he was here behind Alex Smith, everybody in the building knew he had it. Everybody in the building. I mean, there was to the point where people were talking. We haven't even saw him play, and they were talking about taking Alex Smith out and putting him in. And Alex Smith was having one of the best years of his career. So they know if he has it or not without him taking the field. And we've seen sample sizes from him, but you know if he has it. You know if he has it. So I'm not for the benching Aaron Rodgers and playing Jordan Love to determine if you need to pick up his fifth option or not. You should know. And Aaron Rodgers, when he was in that predicament, they didn't sit Brett Favre. They let Brett Favre do what he did, and Aaron Rodgers had to sit and wait. And they paid Aaron Rodgers, they extended him before they even seen him play a game. So you know what you have. If you have it, you know. So I don't believe that they have to put him out there to see if he's the deal or not. They should know. And if he is that deal, then I'm with Larry. Go ahead and trade Aaron and start your new dynasty centered around Jordan Love. I'm drinking Invisible Gatorade. But yeah, so at this point, you 100% know if Jordan Love is it or not. Man, I think Aaron Rodgers should play. If he's ready to go and he can play, then he should play. I 100% agree with that. But ultimately, I do think they done. They've been packed up. They've been packed up since they let the Cowboys off the hook. Oh, well, hold on, wait, no. The Cowboys let the Packers off the hook. But now the Packers are still losing. Yeah, they done. Pack them up. But I'm against, sitting Aaron Rodgers out when there's still football to be played. They're not mathematically out of it yet. I don't want them giving up yet. It ain't time for them to give up. It is not time for them to give up. All right, going into the fourth quarter here, we got the Lakers topic. So, let's see what we got going on here with the Lakers. Green Bay is done. All right. So, for fourth quarter topics, are the Lakers done? Who's to blame for their 7-12 start? So the Lakers at this point in the season are. Let's see. The Lakers at this point in the season are 7-12, and they're 13th in the West. Are they done? I'm going to say they're not done. They're not done. Well, no, they're done. They're done because of the way their team is constructed. I don't see them going on no huge run and having a comeback and getting back in the swing of things and being able to compete for that spot. But what the NBA has done that makes this really, really tough for me to completely say they're done is with this play-in tournament. The play-in tournament ends up extending the playoffs out to, 10 teams now? So technically, all they got to do is be the 10th team in the West, and then they can win a play-in game and make the playoffs. I mean, that definitely does change a lot of things when you take that into consideration. especially when you see how the season has been playing out so far. You have so many teams that have been up and down, that's been hot for one moment and has kind of been soft for a little bit. So as they're currently constructed, yes, I believe they're done. But if they make some moves and switch some things around, I think they can end up working towards that play-in spot to be able to make the playoffs. But who's to blame for their 7-12 start? I've seen a lot of analysts and people on ESPN, FS1 talk about LeBron James and Anthony Davis are to blame because they're the stars. They got to find ways to win and make sure that their team is right. Yeah, right. The NBA is always 2 injuries away from it being completely different, a completely different season. 100% right. 100% correct. Like I said, with that, it's hard to say they're completely done. But honestly, who's to blame? I would say Jeannie Buss is to blame. I mean, she's running things. She's calling the shots. She's the one that put Rob Pelinka in place. And then, if I'm not mistaken, they extended his contract. For what? He hasn't put together a team that's made sense to me yet. I mean, even when last year they had Carmelo Anthony and they had Dwight Howard and they had all these people that were older and talented and stuff like that. LeBron is holding out to go home and play with Bronny. Hey, I know he definitely want to play with Bronny. Again, I don't blame him for putting that out there in the air. It's nepotism. Being able to control the narrative. Hey, if you draft my son, you get me. And if you get me as LeBron James, you get a whole bunch of dollars to your city because people are going to come and watch me play. And people is going to create an even greater storyline because people are going to watch me play with my son. So I 100% am on board for Bron playing with Bronny and staying in there and hanging out as long as he can. But yeah, no, it's Jeannie Buss because Rob Pelinka hasn't put together a team that's made sense to me. Every team I've seen LeBron have that was constructed really well had shooters around him. They always put shooters around LeBron because LeBron can find ways to get into the paint, drive and kick basketball. And this team doesn't have many great shooters. They don't. I mean, Russell Westbrook is not a shooter. Pat Beverly ain't a shooter. Your best shooters that you had on the team last year, you traded away. I mean, I'm looking at that starting lineup in my head right now, and LeBron James is the best shooter in the lineup. And that's a big part of your issue. You got to put shooters around LeBron. I would love to see them find a way to make a trade and get Kyrie Irving because I think they mesh really well together and they play really well together. But right now, I think the way the team is constructed, I don't think they're a threat to do anything in the NBA to take over and be more dominant. I don't think they have that. So that goes into our final topic here, which is overtime. Can we talk about it? So for any of the new viewers, the overtime was maybe a topic. I don't talk about sports. Maybe I do talk about sports. Maybe I talk about music. Maybe I talk about whatever I want to talk about. This is my chance to do that. I might play a song that we can listen to and react to together or anything like that. But for the overtime period, it's not going to be timed. It's going to be whatever I want to talk about forever, however long I want to talk about it. But for this, can we talk about a segment? I'm going to talk about sports still. I'm going to talk about Deshaun Watson. So, Deshaun Watson's suspension is finally over, and he'll be able to play this weekend against his old team, the Houston Texans. I think the NFL definitely played it out this way so that he would come back against his old team and be able to write a storyline, and they'll be able to see Deshaun Watson go on and do these things and his name fall right back in the top of the leagues with the Pat Mahomes and the Josh Allens and the Justin Herberts and one of the top quarterbacks in the league again. I don't see it happening. I see Deshaun Watson coming back and us talking about him, much like when we talk about Russell Wilson, and that he's costing the team a lot of money. Deshaun Watson, and I hate to compare him to Russell Wilson that way because I think Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback, but he hasn't played football in over a year. His team is already mathematically out of it, in my opinion. And what we saw out of him in the preseason, I wasn't that impressed what I saw out of him in the preseason. I think they should hold Deshaun Watson out until next year. Because the worst thing that can happen is you bring him in and he gets hurt and you're even further set back behind with Deshaun Watson. You guys, I mean, what is the Browns' record? Let me go look at that real quick. Are they mathematically out of it? Let's see. Let's see. Browns. So the Browns are 4-7. So no, they're not mathematically out of it. But with the Ravens being 7-4 and the Bengals being 7-4 and the Browns having to play against, let's see, they've played. So no, they're not mathematically out of it. But they still have one game left against the Bengals and one game left against the Ravens. They get both of those wins, win out or something like that. Yeah, they can still make something happen. But they have to also hope for the Bengals or Ravens to fall apart. But I would sit them out until next year. Because I mean, I know you paying them a lot of money. You got to go ahead and get your money. But this is a little bit different than the Green Bay thing for me because I don't think the NFC is that strong. So I can see the Packers with some wins and things fall the right way that they could slide in there into like a wild card spot. But for the Browns, I don't see them making it in there. I mean, you have the Bills with a great record. You have us with a great record. You have the Dolphins with a great record. You have the Bengals that are 7-4. You have the Ravens that are 7-4. You have the Jets that are 7-4. You have the Patriots that are I mean, you have so many teams that are so far ahead of them. To me, the Browns are mathematically out of it. I hate for him to come in and then them struggle or him not perform that well, and it further separates him, and he ends up spiraling down into a window where he ends up becoming Russell Wilson. So I don't want to see that happen. So I'd rather them just wait off until next year and not play into the NFL's hands. There's a reason why they wanted him to come back this game against the Texans, and it's to make money off of him. I mean, shouldn't have did what he did. I don't know if he hasn't shown much remorse. So I don't know if he really did it or didn't. You know, innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. And the court of law found that, they settled. So it is what it is. I see Chiefs 40-17 over Bengals. I see that. Yeah, I'm rocking with that. I would love to see the Chiefs do that. But ultimately, thank you guys for tuning in to Radio Dario Show, episode 10. This is the new format. Tell me what you guys thought of it. And appreciate you guys tuning in and checking us out. And appreciate all the commenting into the chat area. It was a lot of fun. Have a great night, and we'll catch y'all next week. We'll go back to the intro so I can let y'all play out what time the show plays every week.
Black Dog, what's up, man? Here, man. Now, I've been following you for a long time, brother. And it look like you're starting to do good for yourself. You're doing good, brother. I'm proud of you, man. You finally made it, man. I think you there, you know? Yeah. I just gotta ask you one question. One question, Black Dog. You think I can get that $5 now? Know what I'm talking about?
Hey. I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, y'all gon' love me when y'all hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how you like me now? I think I'm big now. I think I'm about to shut the whole city down. Man, they gon' love me when they hear the sound. I'm about to make it big, so how y'all like me now? Man, I'm sipping on this Long Island. Just wishing I was somewhere laying on an island. I'm feeling good, rolling through the hood. My city loving me just like I knew they would. It took some time, but now I'm on top. I'm steady making moves, cause I can't stop. So when you see me, give me my prop. Before I say the word and your career stop. Now every day is like a celebration. Remind me of the hard times we was facing. When I was young, I always had this dream to make